Welcome to my weekly live streams that again occur on Thursdays from 8 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. And welcome back to those of you who are regular attenders of my live stream. And the song you just heard is called Butterfly Lovers, or 杨竹. Now this is actually a full-length 30-minute concerto that was originally actually written for the violin. Not for the Erhu, but actually for the violin, and I simply played the beginning excerpt of that is so well known, that is so common, that is commonly heard in many different places. And to play the part I just played, I kind of just took some of the other solo parts as well as the violin, and the ending was kind of modified a little bit since I needed a way to end it so that you're not just left off if I just play the end of the first part, since it's inconclusive and it's meant to be that way, since we are technically supposed to go to the second part of the song after playing that intro section. And in the comments, I absolutely cannot read that. Well, not absolutely. There are certain things I can read in there, but I can't read much of it. If that is a request, then I will go ahead and mark that down and have that prepared for next week. And speaking of requests, if you guys have any song requests you would like me to prepare on the Erhu for next week's stream rather than this week's stream, then do go ahead and just simply drop your request in the chat. Make sure to include the name of the song, the artist or singer. And yeah, if you don't want to drop it in the chat, you can always just send me an email in the email down in the description below, or you can send me a message to my Facebook page, of which there's also a link to it in the description below. And before we get started, I do have an announcement to make, not as usual, but as with last week, I announced that on October 1st, I would be moving to monthly streams due to my school term beginning on exactly that day, actually. So October 1st will be the last stream before we switch to monthly streams. With that taken care of, let us continue on with our list tonight. And it seems like I had a few more American songs requested this week. Maybe because I had played Viva La Vida over the weekend and had that uploaded onto my channel, and also because I played a few more Western songs last week. But if it's requested, I'll play it. So first on our list, next on our list, since Butterfly Lovers was also part of the list, first on the list we've got Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas. Now Pocahontas is it's not a really old Disney movie, but it's one of the older ones, and I'd say it's one of the classic ones. And Colors of the Wind is just one of the more popular songs to have come out of that film or movie. Now the version I have with me right now and the one I'm about to play may sound just slightly different, but that's only because of a key change, because I changed the key in which I play. Normally this is in D flat major, but I'm playing in G major this time around. And it's structured very, very slightly differently, so without further ado, here is Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas. So again, that was Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas that I just played in G rather than in D flat major. Also and I mentioned that it was structured slightly different from the original. So there's really not much more to say about this other than I've actually played this on stream once, I believe. But again, if it's requested, I'll play it. So who am I to say much about that? Anyways, next on our list is another Coldplay song, which is Clocks. Now this one is also in A flat major, similarly to Viva La Vida that I played over the weekend. And I really can't decide which one of the two that I like better. They're both very good, but for different reasons. In my opinion, though, Clocks is a little more repetitive. It's more for like road trips, just driving down the road, enjoying your ride. And thank you, Triangulum, for the comment. Anyways, here is Clocks by Coldplay. And again, this is in A flat major, and I did not make any. And of course, I am playing it in the original key, as with, I believe, pretty much every single song on this list tonight. So here it goes. And so again, that was Clocks by Coldplay. And yeah, as I said before, this one's a bit repetitive, but hey, if someone asks me to play it, I'll play it in full earnest and put my full effort into it. But anyways, that last part was just a little improvisation. Normally you would hear just the piano and some of the reverb that comes along with it, but I didn't want it to make it sound so empty, so I added in an extra improvised part right there. And so if you were to hear me play this song one more time, that last part wouldn't sound the same twice. Okay. And the next song on our list is actually not written down on our list, since this was actually a very, very last minute request. And this next song I'm about to play is a very, very old one, although I was familiar with it even upon request. That's why I was able to take it so quickly, so easily, and right at the last moment. So this song is called 在那遥远的地方, and it translates roughly to in a distant land. At least that's what Google Translate gave me when I tried to translate the name and each of the components individually. I do not remember who was the original artist, composer, singer, performer, that stuff. But the one I did find was in B minor, since this is in a minor key, and I just went along with it. So anyways, this is 在那遥远的地方 in D, or I should say B minor, because in Erhu and in, I believe, other Chinese instruments as well, we don't say D major, B minor, we just say D, G, A. We say the relative major without paying any heed to the term minor, but I know the term minor, so I'm in the habit of using that. But I'm sure you guys are a bit tired of hearing me talk a bit dryly, so here is 在那遥远的地方, or in a distant land. So again, that was 在那遥远的地方, or in a distant land. And I think a recurring theme with some of the songs we have on the list tonight is that they can sound rather repetitive. So it's really up to me to kind of spice things up a little bit, make it a little more interesting, and kind of just, you know, differentiate the phrases between one another since normally when you sing it, you can tell that there's differences just by listening to the lyrics. But unfortunately, I can't replicate differences in words through my instrument alone. So yeah, it's up to me to just kind of make things interesting. And next on our list is actually on our list this time. This one is World End by Flow, and this is the last opening of the second season of Code Geass. And just thinking about this one and other anime openings in general, I think a common theme for a lot of longer anime is to invite the performers, the performers and composers of the, or I should say the artists of the original first opening, the very first opening of the very first season, to come back and play and do another theme song. Now I see this commonly in a lot of anime, most notably more action-filled anime, more anime directed towards young adults, that stuff. So anyways, this is World End by Flow, and like pretty much every single song on the list tonight, I didn't need to make any modifications at all. In fact, there was an official instrumental that I was able to find, which is a good thing. So I can have it as accurate as possible, and this one is originally in C major. So I will be playing that in C major. So anyways, this is World End by Flow, and also known as the second opening of Code Geass Season 2. And again, that was World End by Flow, featured in Code Geass, second season, as the second opening. Now, for those of you who might not be familiar with what Code Geass is, I forgot to explain this before I played the song. It's a mecha anime from Sunrise, which I like to call. I wouldn't go so far as to call it the king of mecha, the king studio of mecha anime, although they are responsible for the all-famous Gundam. Now, Code Geass is just another mecha series. It is, well, I wouldn't go so far as to say it's just another mecha series, since it is a very good and popular series in its own right. But again, I can't really explain in words the plot without really spoiling it. But I'll just leave you with the fact that it's a really good mecha anime with, of course, 2 seasons. Actually, there's also a movie that I have yet to watch, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, now I completely ignored that comment of yours, Richie. But yes, if I have time in the end, then I certainly can and will play Butterfly Lovers one more time, since some of you who are in the audience right now may not have had a chance to hear me play it. Next on our list is another rather old song called Mu Li Hua, or something like that. Now, yeah, this is a really, really old song. It's really so old that I couldn't find a proper instrumental to go along with it, so I kind of just had to play over the vocals for this one. The version I found is in C major, and well, there's not too much special about it musically, but to some of you it may hold some special significance. But musically there isn't anything too special about it, and more or less the structure is just verse, chorus, repeat, end. But I'm sure you don't want to sit there or stand there or listen to me talk on and on and on about certain musical terms you guys might not understand. So I won't waste any more time, and I will just go right into it. And again, for this one, I'm simply going to be playing over the vocals, since I couldn't find a proper instrumental for this. But before I do that, let me set some settings real quick. All right, let us begin. So that was, I believe it was 茉莉花, yeah, it was 茉莉花. I pronounced it wrong earlier, actually. From Nina Chan, 英文 jasmine. Yes, it is. It translates to jasmine flowers in English. Yeah, this was 茉莉花. I don't recall the name of the original composer, but the singer for this one, I can't read the characters of the name of the singer, so I'll go ahead and just drop the name of the singer for this version that I just played over into the chat. So that name right there is the name of the singer of the version of 茉莉花 that I just played over. And again, it was just relatively short, a relatively simple song just to play. But again, it may hold a more significant meaning to others who are much more well versed in Chinese than I am. So I can't say too much about it other than in musical terms. With that taken care of, let us move on to our list. We are now in the home stretch, unfortunately, as all good things must come to an end. And the next song on my list for tonight is Apologize by Onerepublic. Or really officially it should be Apologize by Timbaland featuring Onerepublic. And I'm sure most of you know that Onerepublic is a band, an American band actually. Coldplay I believe is from the UK. And Onerepublic, they're one of the bands I grew up listening to, even though now a lot of the stuff I listen to is more on the Asian side. As a kid, I used to listen to a lot of Onerepublic and Coldplay songs on the radio. So the next song I will be playing for tonight is Apologize, which again is one of the songs that Onerepublic is most known for. And as with every single song on this list, I did not have to make any sort of modifications. And this one is in E flat major. So here it is, Apologize by Timbaland featuring Onerepublic. And again, that was apologized by Onerepublic. But again, I should be saying Timbaland featuring Onerepublic, although I don't recall. I do know why. But in the original, when you hear that one guy in the background just going, oh hey, or something like that, that's Timbaland doing that. But he is mainly the producer and the I believe he does the mixing and mastering. He did the mixing and mastering for the song as well. He's no more as a producer than as a performer. And thank you for the comment. Now, last up on our list was a song that I actually played last stream, but it was requested for me to play it one more time. This one is Yesterday Once More by the Carpenters. Now, even though I did say I played it last stream, I will play a song any number of times so long as someone does request it during a stream. So let's not dilly-dally any longer. And this is Yesterday Once More by the Carpenters. And again, if you guys missed last stream, this one's in E major. And again, it kind of talks about lost childhood memories, or lost memories of when one was younger. And this is also a song I kind of grew up listening to, but in a different manner from songs from, say, Onerepublic, Coldplay, Imagine Dragons. Those bands. This is a song I listened to in my childhood in a rather different way, we should say. Anyways, this is Yesterday Once More by the Carpenters, played on the Erhu. again, that was Yesterday Once More, played once more on the Erhu from last week. Now, the original was, as I said earlier before I played this song, was originally by the Carpenters, which I believe is a duo from like the 60s or 70s or sometime in mid-late 1900s. Not too awfully familiar with that duo specifically, but it's this song that I was rather familiar with to begin with, due to my history of having listened to it quite a few times in my childhood, I would say. Let's just say that. Moving on then, since we do have some time, Richie, we can play Butterfly Lovers one last time. Now, some of you might not have been here during the beginning, in which I played Liangzhu, or Butterfly Lovers. Now, this one is a very, very famous Chinese song, and actually it was written first as a violin concerto, rather than for the Erhu, as some might believe. And for this one, I'm going to be playing in B flat major instead of the standard G major, the beginning excerpt of Butterfly Lovers, or Liangzhu. And as with the beginning, as with what I did in the beginning of the stream, I will also be kind of just taking the melodic parts of each solo. So for my memory, we have a dizi solo, or a Chinese bamboo flute solo. Of course, the main instrument, which is the violin, and then I believe there's a cello solo as well. And I kind of just mix all those notes together to form one big part. And that's what I'm going to be playing right now. So this is the beginning excerpt of Liangzhu, or Butterfly Lovers. So again, that's the beginning portion of Butterfly Lovers, or 梁祝, played on the Erhu in B flat major, and the end was kind of just, it's kind of something I came up with on my own, just to have a way to kind of end off just the beginning section without leaving us hanging, which would normally be for the next section, which is actually a very, very fast-paced section. And I highly encourage you, if you guys have the time to do so, then I highly encourage you to just kind of sit down for the 30 minutes and listen to the original concerto. Originally written for violin, not Erhu. So anyways, thank you for all the comments in the chat. And so far, it looks like we only have one request in the chat for next week, but again, I'm always open for requests through email, which you can find in the description below, or you can also send me a message through Facebook. And with that taken care of, that brings us to the end of our stream. Now, everything I just played today and every track I used to play this do not belong to me, and I hold no rights over them and the originals of the songs I played tonight. And so once again, October 1st will be the last stream before I stream monthly, as on October 1st exactly, I will be beginning college at UCLA. And again, if you haven't done so already, please leave a like in the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with the channel. And of course, if you could help me support my other social media, my Facebook and my Twitter, which you can find in the description below. If you could support me in those pages as well, I would greatly appreciate that. So, if it doesn't look like we have any more requests directly on stream, then I will see you guys next week. Good night. Thank you guys for coming. Good night, and take care.